member Johanna Wood, and we are very honoured today to have a very special guest, one of the most influential women in sport, and in fact people in sport, and someone who is an inspiration to women from all walks of life right around the globe, all the way from Zurich, Madam Fatma Samoura, FIFA Secretary General. Welcome. I would also like to pass on apologies from our Prime Minister and the ministerial patron for the event, the Right Honourable Jacinda Ardern, who is unfortunately unable to attend as she's self-isolating, as I'm sure many of you have experienced, so these things happen. And a big thank you to our other partners and guests who have joined us today for the announcement, including Sky TV CEO Sophie Maloney. Welcome, Sophie. Tourism New Zealand CEO Renee de Monchi. Welcome, Renee. Auckland Unlimited CEO Nick Hill, welcome Nick, and of course the future stars of the sport from Auckland United Academy, welcome. So we're edging towards 1 year to go for the tournament, with 433 days until the 20th of July here, and we have kick-off in Auckland, Tamaki, Makaurau. And we have just returned from 2 weeks touring all 9 host cities and 10 venues. And I can tell you that the commitment, engagement and passion for what we have on our doorstep in terms of delivering the world's largest women's sports event, and all the opportunities that this event is going to afford both the football community but also the broader population in our host cities is palpable. And the momentum is definitely starting to build. All our stakeholders, the football community, host cities, governments are now starting to mobilise to make the most of this fantastic opportunity. So today is big news for New Zealand, so without further ado, I'll ask our Deputy Prime Minister to share the exciting news. Welcome.
O tihe Māori ora, he mihi ana na mana whenua ki tēnei rohi, Ngāti Whātua o Ōraki, kei te mihi, kei te mihi, kei te mihi. E na mana, e nā reo, e nā raurangatira mā ana hoe wha, tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou katoa. Thank you, Dave. Can I also acknowledge the dignitaries who are here with us today, the Mayor of Auckland, who has indeed put the weather on for us today here. When we were in the shadow, it felt a little bit more like Wellington. Now we're in the sun. I know that I'm here in Tamaki Makaurau. Can I also acknowledge New Zealand Football President Johanna Wood. Lovely to see you, Johanna. All of the dignitaries who are here, but most especially I want to welcome FIFA Secretary General Fatma Samoura. It is wonderful, Secretary General, to have you back here in New Zealand. We are so excited to have you here. You have run our team ragged, touring New Zealand and I know Australia as well, to make sure that things are in full preparation mode for this most exciting tournament, and it's our honour that you're here for this milestone announcement today. I also want to acknowledge Shane Fernandez, representing our Australian friends and co-hosts. We are delighted to have the Trans-Tasman rivalry put to good cause by hosting this tournament together, constantly trying to outdo one another with how we're going to host the tournament, but actually coming together as one to do so. And really excited, Jane, that you can be with us here today as well. The hosting of the 2023 FIFA Women's World Cup is an unprecedented opportunity for Australia and New Zealand to showcase our commitment to women's sport and continue our track record of successfully hosting major sporting events. It is a huge milestone in raising the value and visibility of women's sport, growing female participation, and creating new female sporting heroes and leaders. Football fans will certainly appreciate the significance of the draw and today's announcement in the build-up to the FIFA Women's World Cup 2023, where they will find out where and who their teams will be playing. And for Aotearoa New Zealand, it will reveal which teams we will be hosting here. The draw is an internationally significant event in its own right, broadcast to millions of people across the globe and attended by numerous FIFA officials, confederation presidents, international media, broadcast networks, representatives from teams and the commercial affiliates. It is the main event in the countdown to the hosting the largest women's sporting event in the world next year. So without further ado, let's find out where and when the 2023 FIFA Women's World Cup draw will be held. I'm joined today by 11-year-old Neris Fish from the Auckland United Academy. So as Neris is showing you there, the draw for the 2023 FIFA Women's World Cup will be held in Auckland, Tamaki Makaurau, on the 22nd of October this year. I did note, Phil, that for those of us as we get older, the memory 22/10/22, quite easy to remember here in Auckland to have that. This is indeed a fantastic opportunity for Aotearoa New Zealand to showcase our culture and traditions to a global audience and to show the unique experience our host cities will provide for fans and visitors alike. The tournament is a milestone event for the future of football in this country, and I'm excited about what it will bring for us and for the women and girls of the world. I also note that it is among 3 Women's World Cups that Aotearoa New Zealand is hosting. We've just completed the successful hosting of the Cricket World Cup. We have the Rugby World Cup starting in October. And also I would note the International Working Group on Women in Sport meeting in November, just after this draw will take place. So this is a unique period of time for Aotearoa New Zealand to celebrate women and girls in sport and provide a showcase to the world. Thank you once again for being here today on this exciting announcement.
Thank you, Deputy Prime Minister, and we acknowledge your unwavering support for this event and count ourselves very fortunate and lucky to have such a supportive Minister behind the tournament. So thank you very much. I would now like to welcome FIFA Secretary General, Madam Fatma Samura, to share the significance of this tournament. Welcome, Fatma.
Thank you, Dave. Tina koto katoa. I would like to extend my greeting to Deputy Prime Minister, Sport Minister the Honourable Grant Robertson, the Mayor of Auckland, Phil Goff, and New Zealand Football President, OFC and FIFA Council Member, Honourable Johanna Wood, as well as all of you here and standing by the existing protocol. I'm delighted to be in New Zealand for the announcement of Auckland, the City of Sails, as a host city for the draw of the FIFA Women's World Cup 23. Along with my team, I've spent the past 2 weeks on the land, on the earth, that will be part of the story of how people of New Zealand and Australia welcome visitors from the 4 corners of the globe to play together and celebrate being together after 2 challenging years for all of us. The FIFA Women's World Cup story is an exciting one, and momentum is truly building up as we step closer to the 9th edition of the tournament, which are certain will be beyond greatness here in the Southern Hemisphere. As highlighted by Dave, this tournament is a tournament of many firsts. The first being hosted by 2 confederations, the first with an expanded team of 32 teams, the first to be played in the Southern Hemisphere, and the first where all the world after 2 challenging years will be coming together to celebrate how great women's football has grown over the past few years. The official draw for the FIFA Women's World Cup in October built anticipation for football teams and, of course, their fans around the world as they find out where and who's the team they will be playing with. We want this World Cup to be the most inclusive, most diverse, and most empowering for the girls and women tuning in to see diverse female players take to the pitch and show out how exciting and how extraordinary they are. We want to see fans from all communities come together to celebrate the positive power of football and the message of empowerment, tenacity, and pride it provides to all those involved in the beautiful game. So without any further ado, I would like to acknowledge the traditional custodian of Australia and Tangata Whenua, New Zealand, and their ancestors. I look forward to returning later this year for the FIFA Women's World Cup draw, which will set the stage for a tournament and experience in the beautiful countries that will be definitely beyond greatness. Kia ora koutou. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Samura, and I can attest to the impact that having Fatma here in Australia and New Zealand has had on the tournament, and I can confirm her work ethic is like nothing I have ever seen before from a leader in her position, and it has been a hectic but highly productive and very, very successful couple of weeks travelling around Australia and New Zealand. So it's been an honour and a privilege to have you here down under. So now I would like to invite the Mayor of Auckland, Tamaki Makaurau, Phil Goff, to say a few words.
Kia ora tātou, tēnei te mihi nui ki a koutou. Nau mai, haere mai, atamari e, nā hoe whā, tēnā koutou, tēnā tātou katoa. And a warm welcome, particularly to you, Madam Secretary-General. And I did turn on the fine weather, but I didn't arrange for the fire engine siren during the Minister of Finance's speech. Can I acknowledge you first, Madam Secretary-General? It's great to have you back in Auckland, and we look forward to seeing you in October when this draw happens. Can I acknowledge also the Deputy Prime Minister, Minister of Sport, and he wasn't introduced as Minister of Finance. Now there's an event on Thursday that will highlight this, but it won't have escaped you, Madam Secretary-General, that it's really helpful to have as Minister of Sport somebody that's also Minister of Finance. So I'm not raising expectations for Thursday, but it won't go unnoticed. And Johanna Wood, President of the New Zealand Football, fantastic to see you again. And all of our distinguished guests, and also to our football stars and our stars of the future. It's great to have you here, because the importance of this event, one of the really important things of this event is the focus on women and girls sports and the inspiration this event will have for a new generation of players. So great to see the young people here today. It's only 14 months and we're all counting down. Somebody mentioned 433 days, I think, Dave, to when we will hold not only the biggest women's sporting tournament that we've ever hosted in this city, but actually one of the biggest women's sporting tournaments in the world. And this is so big, I don't think that New Zealanders probably recognise that 1.1 billion viewers will be following the events. And here in Tamaki Makaurau, we have the privilege, first of all, of having the opening game and also the semi-final. 9 games in total, but now also the draw. And I know that people around the world will be looking in anticipation on 22-10-22, thank you for that, Grant, to see which teams their own team will be playing. It's going to be fantastic for Auckland, and I have to say, after a couple of hard years of COVID, this will bring, I think, another $60 million of GDP to the city. It will really help the recovery program from COVID, as well as being the excitement that it brings to the city that everybody is so looking forward to. This is a typical Auckland day in winter. Well, not always, but a lot of the time. And we hope that this city of ours, which was the Lonely Planet City of the Year to visit for 2022, will be a real attraction to the people that will come internationally to enjoy not only the excitement of the football, but also the beauty of our environment and the cultural diversity of our city and the unique cultural element of a Maori welcome in Aotearoa and in Tamaki Makaurau. So, Madam Secretary-General, great to have you with us for this important announcement today. I know that you won't have much spare time. I've heard of your program, but hopefully when you come back, you'll see a little bit of our city and our country and enjoy that. So wonderful to be here on this occasion. No reira, tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou, tēnā tātou katoa. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mayor Goff, and it's great to see such commitment and passion for this tournament and what it affords Auckland, so much appreciated. I would now like to welcome to the stage New Zealand Football President and FIFA Council Member Johanna Wood to talk about the importance of legacy for this tournament.
Thank you, Dave. Tēnā koutou katoa. Minister Robinson, Mayor Goff, Madam Secretary, and to all invited guests. It's a real privilege to be here today and share this announcement. When Aotea New Zealand was awarded the co-hosting rights of the FIFA Women's World Cup in 2023 along with Australia, I said we'd been given a taonga, a treasure for us to look after. Today's announcement that the FIFA Women's World Cup 2023 draw will take place here in Aotearoa is also a real privilege, and it is another taonga for us. It's an opportunity to welcome the world to our football whānau, our first opportunity since being awarded the tournament to be able to welcome the world to our shores. It's a chance to give the world a taste of what we have to offer when the tournament kicks off here in Auckland, Tamaki Makaurau, on July the 20th, 2023. The draw is a significant event for the football whānau here in Aotearoa and also for our football family over in Australia. We will discover who our football ferns will play, and our international communities will find out where their teams will be playing. When the FIFA Women's World Cup, with the FIFA Women's World Cup being just over a year away, ticking off another milestone brings this tournament one step closer, and it makes it a little bit more tangible and real. An important part of this tournament is its legacy, and you've heard previous speakers talk about our legacy. It starts here. It starts with our young people, it starts with our young football ferns, and as we say, this legacy will be ongoing. The tournament will come and go, but we will still be a football whānau. And in the words of the whakatauki, I encourage you, hei waka, eka noa, let's get on this waka together and let's make this the best tournament ever. So we look forward to welcoming you back here in Auckland, Tamaki Makaurau on October 22, 2022. Kia ora koutou katoa.
Kia ora, Johanna, and that sentiment around using the tournament as a platform to encourage thousands of young women into sport, into football, is certainly a passion that is shared by the team and I, and we certainly look forward to a really solid partnership with Andrew and yourself and the team to really make that a reality. So look, that concludes the formalities of this morning. Invited guests are welcome for a cup of tea, but before that, I hear there may be a little bit of football action available on the pitch for those who wish to partake. So anyone who feels inspired to have a kick around, you are more than welcome onto the pitch. But thank you and kia ora.
Kei te mihi. E na mana, e nā reo, e nā raurangatira mā ana hoe wha, tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou katoa. Thank you, Dave. Can I also acknowledge the dignitaries who are here with us today? The Mayor of Auckland, who has indeed put the weather on for us today here. When we were in the shadow, it felt a little bit more like Wellington. Now we're in the sun. I know that I'm here in Tamaki Makaurau. Can I also acknowledge New Zealand Football President Johanna Wood? Lovely to see you, Johanna. All of the dignitaries who are here, but most especially I want to welcome FIFA Secretary General Fatma Samura. It is wonderful, Secretary General, to have you back here in New Zealand. We are so excited to have you here. You have run our team ragged, touring New Zealand and I know Australia as well, to make sure that things are in full preparation mode for this most exciting tournament, and it's our honour that you're here for this milestone announcement today. I also want to acknowledge Shane Fernandez, representing our Australian friends and co-hosts. We are delighted to have the Trans-Tasman rivalry put to good cause by hosting this tournament together, constantly trying to outdo one another with how we're going to host the tournament, but actually coming together as one to do so. And really excited, Jane, that you can be with us here today as well. The hosting of the 2023 FIFA Women's World Cup is an unprecedented opportunity for Australia and New Zealand to showcase our commitment to women's sport and continue our track record of successfully hosting major sporting events. It is a huge milestone in raising the value and visibility of women's sport, growing female participation, and creating new female sporting heroes and leaders. Football fans will certainly appreciate the significance of the draw and today's announcement in the build-up to the FIFA Women's World Cup 2023, they will find out where and who their teams will be playing. And for Aotearoa New Zealand, it will reveal which teams we will be hosting here. The draw is an internationally significant event in its own right, broadcast to millions of people across the globe and attended by numerous FIFA officials, confederation presidents, international media, broadcast networks, representatives from teams and the commercial affiliates. It is the main event in the countdown to the hosting the largest women's sporting event in the world next year. So without further ado, let's find out where and when the 2023 FIFA Women's World Cup draw will be held. I'm joined today by 11-year-old Neris Fish from the Auckland United Academy.